Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Dear respected guests and participants, thank you very much for your presence and to be here to choose the technical session on scaling safely managed sanitation, the result-based financing model in Bangladesh. Thank you very much. Finish Mondial, Finish strands in financial inclusion, improve sanitation and health. Finish Mondial Bangladesh is working sanitation financing, which is a key tool to drive sanitation demand creation, improve waste worker livelihoods, and promote sustainable urban environment through partnership with MFIs, NGOs, and the private sector. Finish Mondial Bangladesh facilitating a scale sanitation solution across Bangladesh. Now I would like to request Wahida Anjoom, Country Coordinator and Executive Director of Finish Mondial Foundation in Bangladesh. She has excellent knowledge and experience on financial inclusion for distressed and marginalized people in Bangladesh. Wahida Anjoom's expertise in financial inclusion is crucial for expanding sanitation financing initiative in Bangladesh. Her leadership at Finish Mondial Bangladesh can help drive innovative financial models, ensuring that marginalized communities gain access to safe and affordable sanitation solutions. Now I am requesting to Wahida Anjoom to deliver her welcome speech to the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mojibur bhai. Humbled for the introduction. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Good morning and Assalamu alaikum. Chair, distinguished guests and panelists. It's an absolute honor to welcome you all to this important session, Scaling Safely Managed Sanitation Through Result-Based Financing in Bangladesh. I am the country coordinator of Bangladesh, welcoming you all to the session. We are gathered here today because sanitation remains one of the most pressing global challenges. While significant progress has been made, as per UNICEF JMP 2023 data, the reality is 3.5 billion people worldwide still lack access to safely managed sanitation services. The situation is even worse or severe in low and middle income countries, where infrastructure gaps, financial constraints, and behavioral challenges persist. In Bangladesh, around 40% of the population lacks access to safely managed sanitation. The consequences of this gap extend beyond individual households. They impact public health, environmental sustainability, economic productivity, and overall human dignity. Poor sanitation is linked to waterborne diseases, child malnutrition, and economic losses, with studies estimating that inadequate sanitation costs countries up to 5% of their GDP annually. At Finish Mondial, we firmly believe that sanitation is not just about building toilets. It is about creating a sustainable, financially viable, and scalable ecosystem that ensures access, affordability, and long-term sustainability. The key question we must ask ourselves today is, how do we scale safely managed sanitation in a way that is sustainable, market-driven, and financially feasible? Result-based financing and its role in sanitation, if I say a bit about it, one of the emerging solutions that has shown promising results in Bangladesh and other Finish Mondial countries is RBF, or result-based financing model. Unlike traditional donor-driven funding models, this approach shifts the focus from inputs to outcome, ensuring that financial incentives are directly linked to the achievement of measurable sanitation targets. This approach fosters greater accountability, efficiency, and sustainability, ensuring that resources are used effectively to create long-term impact. In Bangladesh, Finish Mondial has implemented result-based financing model that integrates multiple stakeholders to strengthen the sanitation system, microfinance institutions to expand financial inclusion and make sanitation affordable for households, entrepreneurs, and sanitation service providers, sanitation enterprises, masons, and service providers to improve service delivery, technical skills, and quality standards. government partnerships to align policy frameworks with performance-based financing models for sustainable sanitation investments, communities and local businesses to drive behavioral change and create demand for safely managed sanitation solutions. Through this approach, we are fostering a self-sustaining sanitation market, one where financing mechanisms are inclusive, performance-driven, and scalable. Traditional sanitation programs have often been donor-driven, donor-dependent, limiting long-term sustainability. However, when sanitation is positioned as a viable business opportunity, it transitions from an aid-based model to a market-driven approach, where households can access financing for toilets without economic barriers. Sanitation entrepreneurs and masons receive the necessary financial support and training to expand their businesses. MFIs play a crucial role in ensuring that financing is affordable, accessible, and effectively structured to drive the sanitation need. Private sector involvement increases, encouraging innovation, investments, and sustainable market growth in the sanitation sector. The results are already visible. In Bangladesh, our experience has shown that by combining finance, technical support, and entrepreneurship, sanitation solutions can be effectively scaled and sustained over time. What we expect from this session, during today's session, we will deep dive into RBF mechanisms and how they are able to shape sanitation financing, hear real-world insights from MFIs, NGOs, sector experts, and on how RBF is driving change in Bangladesh, discuss challenges, opportunities, and best practices for scaling RBF-based sanitation model, explore how RBF can be adapted to different socioeconomic and geographic contexts to maximize impact. We are privileged to have an incredible panel of experts with us who bring diverse perspectives from finance policy, community engagement, and business-driven situation solutions. Their expertise will help us explore new ideas and solutions that go beyond traditional sanitation financing model. Before I conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. If we are serious about achieving SDG 6.2, universal access to sanitation, we must rethink how we finance, implement, and scale safely managed sanitation solutions. The result-based financing model presents a valuable opportunity to shift sanitation financing from one-time investment to long-term performance-driven solutions. However, success will require collaboration, commitment, and innovation across all stakeholders. I encourage you all to engage actively, share insights, challenge ideas, and explore new partnerships. Let us use this session to drive real change and unlock the full potential of financial innovation in sanitation. I welcome you all to the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wahida, for your welcome speech. You know, the Honorable Managing Director, PKSF, Mr. Fazlul Kader, sir, is emergencies. He is now engaged in emergencies in Secretariat, so apologies for that. So now I would like to request Mr. Valentin Post to chair this session. Mondial envisions a world where everyone has access to safe sanitation and water. To achieve this, we engage all stakeholders, communities, business, financial institutions, and governments across the entire water and sanitation value chain. By fostering the collaboration and strengthening ecosystems, we ensure the delivery of sustainable and inclusive water and sanitation service for all. As a co-founder and the director of Mondial Foundation, Mr. Valentin Post is a visionary leader in sanitation financing, circular economy, models, and impact-driven investments. With decades of experiences, he has pioneered result-based financing models that have scaled sustainable sanitation solutions across Asia, Africa, and benefiting millions of peoples. Now I'm requesting Mr. Valentin Post to deliver the keynote to the audiences. Mr. Valentin Post, please.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure, privilege to be here. And as you see, the topic's very serious, but we should take sometimes in a lighter vein. So I have made a presentation, which I think is somewhere, but not on the screen. So it would be great if it comes on the screen. But meantime, let me start with the purpose of this session is we're looking into solutions. And there is no one-fit-all solution, but we think
sanitation is a basic human right, yet many families struggle to afford safely managed sanitation systems. But what if financial inclusion could change that? This is the story of Rikta, a mother who transformed her life with a simple yet powerful loan.
আমার নাম রিক্তা। লেপিনের সমস্যা আছিল, গন্ধ করতো, মল দেখা যাইতো, মাছি করতো, বাচ্চা অসুস্থ হতো, কিন্তু টাকা পয়সার অভাবে আমি লেপিন করতে পারতাম না।
It all began when Rikta attended a community awareness session conducted by a local microfinance institution, TMSS, supported by Finnish Mondial, Bangladesh.
আমি গ্রুপে গেছিলাম, কোনো স্যারের আলোচনা করছে, সেই মিটিংয়ে ভাইরা বলছে স্বাস্থ্যকর লেপটিন কেন দরকার।
There, she learned about sanitation loans and how they could help her build safely managed sanitation system for her family.
সেখান থেকে লোন নেওয়ার ইচ্ছা জাগে, আমি TMSS এর অফিসে যাই, TMSS এর অফিসে যাই স্যারের সঙ্গে কথা বলি যে আমি একটা লেপটিন বানানোর ঋণ নেব।
আমরা বিশেষ করে ফিনিশ মন্ডিয়ালের এই প্রজেক্টে আমরা মানুষকে এই বিষয়ে সচেতন করি, অর্থাৎ গ্রুপে তাদেরকে একটা স্যানিটেশন তৈরি করতে গেলে যেভাবে তৈরি করার দরকার সেই তাতে করে সেফলি ম্যানেজ স্যানিটেশন সিস্টেমটা যেন করতে পারে।
আমরা এটাকে রেজাল্ট বেসড ফিনিশিং বলছি কেন? রেজাল্ট বেসড ফিনিশিং বলছি এই কারণে, প্রথমে যে কাজটা আমরা করি, প্রথমেই আমাদের MFI পার্টনার সহযোগী সংস্থা যারা রয়েছে তারা প্রথমে সেফলি ম্যানেজ স্যানিটেশন সিস্টেমের জন্য তাদের অংশগ্রহণকারীদেরকে এবং গ্রুপ মেম্বারদেরকে তারা ঋণ প্রদান করে দেয় এবং সেই ঋণ প্রদান করে সেই ঋণের টাকা দিয়ে তারা মেশনের সাথে যারা টয়লেট তৈরি করে তাদের মাধ্যমে টয়লেটে কনস্ট্রাকশন করে। ফিনিশ মন্ডিয়াল বাংলাদেশটি ডাটা ভ্যালিডেশনের মাধ্যমে নিশ্চিত করে যে এই টয়লেটগুলা সরজমিন পরিদর্শন করে থাকেন এবং এই ভ্যালিডেশনের পরই আমরা তাদেরকে রেজাল্ট বেসড ফিন্যান্সিংটার ব্যবস্থাপনা করে থাকি। এটা একটা সুন্দর প্রক্রিয়া এবং আগে রেজাল্ট পরে আমাদের ফিন্যান্স।
ঋণ নিয়ে আমি একটা ভালো মিস্ত্রির সঙ্গে কথা বলি যে মিস্ত্রি ট্রেনিং পাইছে। মিস্ত্রি আমার বলছে যে রিট নাকবো, সিমেন্ট নাকবো, টিন নাকবো, তারপরে নাকবো, সিমেন্টের খুঁটি নাকবো।
আমার নাম জুয়েল, আমি রাও মিস্ত্রি কাজ করি। ফিনিশ মন্ডল থেকে আমি জলবায়ু সহনশীল টয়লেটের ট্রেনিং পাইছি। এখন যারা আমার কাছে আসে আমি স্বাস্থ্যসম্মত টয়লেট বানানোর জন্য পরামর্শ দিই।
To build her toilet, Rikta needed quality materials. She bought them from Panna, a local sanitation business owner who also benefited from financial inclusion.
আমার নাম সমাদ পান্না, মানে TMSS থেকে লোন নিয়েছি স্যানিটারি ব্যবসার জন্য, বড় করার জন্য 3 লাখ টাকা ওনাদের কাছ থেকে নিয়েছি।
আগের থেকে এই টয়লেট আমার ভালো আছে, আমরা ভালো আছি, আমার বাচ্চারা ভালো আছে।
ফিনিশ মন্ডিয়াল কি করে? ফিনিশ মন্ডিয়াল ডায়মন্ড অ্যাপ্রোচের মাধ্যমে আমরা স্যানিটেশন ফিন্যান্সিং ইনশিওর করার জন্য প্রথমেই যেটা করি সেটা হচ্ছে ডিমার্কেশনের জন্য আমাদের যে কমিউনিটি সেশনগুলো করে সেই সেশন গাইড সহ তাদের সর্ব ধরনের ক্যাপাসিটি বিল্ডিংয়ের কাজ করে থাকি। পাশাপাশি আমরা স্যানিটেশন এন্টারপ্রেনারদের জন্য প্রশিক্ষণের ব্যবস্থা করি, টেকনিক্যাল প্রশিক্ষণ, তাদের ব্যবসার জন্য প্রশিক্ষণ, মেশনদের জন্য আমরা টেকনিক্যাল প্রশিক্ষণ এবং তাদের বিজনেসের জন্য প্রশিক্ষণ দিয়ে থাকি এবং মেশনরা এলাকার মেশনকে ওই কমিটির সাথে ইন্টিগ্রেশন করে দেওয়া এই কাজটা আমরা ফিনিশ মন্ডিয়াল বাংলাদেশ করে থাকি আমাদের এই মেকার মাধ্যমে। ধন্যবাদ।
আমার নাম শাকিলা। রিক্তা আপার প্রতিবেশী। রিক্তা আপা যেভাবে ঋণ নিয়ে একটি নতুন টয়লেট তৈরি করছে, আমিও সেভাবে একটি নতুন ভালো সুন্দর টয়লেট তৈরি করতে চাই। আমি এবং আমার বাচ্চা এবং আমার সংসারের সবাই যেন ভালো ও সুস্থ থাকতে পারি।
Through financial inclusion and result-based financing, the cycle of change continues. Every loan distributed impacts not just one person, but an entire community. This is the power of financial inclusion. This is the story of a ripple turning into a wave of change.
Yeah, so thanks. I wasn't aware that this film was coming, but I liked it. First time I'm seeing it. So we are talking here about result-based financing. Now, if you look globally, it's an instrument which is increasingly being used. The World Bank actually set up a group, the Partnership on Result-Based Approaches. And result-based financing only one of them, but it's used in different sectors. It's pretty large in education, in health. It's even applied in telecom, but the most popular one is in energy, renewable energy. But for the last 10, 15 years, the World Bank has also been into the WASH space, including in Bangladesh in sanitation. A very large result-based financing program, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, is your neighboring country, the Swachh Bharat mission in India, the Clean India mission, where after verification of the toilet being there, the household would get a subsidy from the government. In Finnish Mondial, we use a slightly different approach, but it's also after verification. And the key in result-based financing is verification. You pay after the result is achieved. You have to be very sure that the result actually is there. Now, how did we start our journey? We started in 2008 really as a project. We had an idea, and that idea we were able to convince, well, the person you see there on the far left, that's currently the King of the Netherlands. So we're trying to explain what we were trying to do. And to be honest, he didn't understand it. Today he understands, that time it was too complicated. When we expanded to Bangladesh, and the picture in the middle, or there, the tall fellow in the middle is our, that time, Prime Minister, and the other ones are vice premiers. So the interest from the government in doing this was very, very big, and even today it still is. So we started with our initial approach. We thought we have the four corners of what we call a diamond. So there's the communities, the people where we actually work for, the business side of it, the financial institutions, and the government. And we had a sort of a focus initially on the communities and the financial institutions. So if we can get the financial institutions interested to work directly with the communities, then we solve the equation. Little did we know that the systems which were being built and what people took a loan for were pathetic. They were not actually making people healthier, they were making people worse off. And to boot, they had taken a loan, so they were also indebted. So it didn't take us long to realize that we have to change our act quickly. When we started in Kenya, it was much more a government-driven program, and we couldn't connect really the business and the financial side to it. So these were lessons which we incorporate in going forward. So our current approach is much more diverse. I just showed you a couple of the things, the mistakes we made, to show where we're coming to today. So if we talk about the demand side, demand really for a toilet, you don't need to do that much in Bangladesh. The toilet per se. People are aware you need a toilet. That they are not aware of everything, that's a different element. If you talk about the program which was developed here in Bangladesh, community-led total sanitation, it's great from the community angle, but you have some quality and sustainability issues. So we developed what we call CLTS++, so keeping the community there, working with the supply side, plus working with financial institutions. And what is today our new challenge is accepting safe reuse of human waste. Because in the end, there is carbon inside, there are nutrients inside, and our plants need nutrients, soil needs the carbon. Then on the supply side, what we have learned over the years is we are really dealing with a bottom of the pyramid market. Poor people want the highest quality for the lowest price. And it's our duty, our task, or our quest, if you want, to figure out how we can do that. So how can we reduce the price and maintain the quality, or how can we reduce the price and increase the quality? And again, in the supply side, you have to work on provisioning for safer use of human waste. So you need to be able to empty toilets. You need to be able to have maybe double systems. You need to be able to link biogas to it. So all these opportunities exist, but you need to build it. And people who are building it, they need to know. Whether I know it or not is totally irrelevant. It's the people who build it, who are the advisors of the community, they need to know it. So the government engagement happens at different levels. At local level, that's actually where you find the results. But if you want to scale, if you want to really grow and prosper, you need to go at higher level. You need to go at state level, provincial level, and national level. And you need large partners who operate nationally. And in the element of reuse, there's also a policy, there need to be a conducive policy, because human waste is unsafe. So if you want to reuse it, you have to be very sure that it is done safely. So there has to be a policy, there has to be a government engagement there. So as of today, what we say, we're moving circular. So you build assets, toilets, sanitation systems, people use them. If they use them, they produce something. Now whatever they produce, we take, we convert it, and it's being grown, it's being used to grow plants. This again we eat. So you get the idea, right? It's a cycle, and that cycle is not a perfect cycle. There will be some leakage in the system, but a lot of the fertilizers which are today imported in many countries actually can be avoided. The second part, bringing carbon back into the soil, can really alleviate a lot of the problems we have today with climate change. It's a cause and an effect of climate change. So, but I'm here to talk about result-based approaches. So like sanitation, we also tried many different avenues. So we tried first output-based aid. Very conceptually, very nice. We're really proud of the concept of output-based aid. You work with a microfinance partner. If they do a 50% sanitation coverage, they get a certain amount as a payout, and 70%, 95%, and 100%. But reality told some clients you simply cannot finance. If you're a microfinance institution, there are certain clients you are not willing to finance, even if you get an incentive. Your bottom line is you should be a healthy microfinance institution. And we had monitoring issues. The third one is it really takes time. To go from sometimes we were at 20% to 100% takes years and years, is beyond project finance. Another one we tried was using guarantee funds. So we put a guarantee fund in a partner and say, in case you have a problem, you can deploy the guarantee fund. But what we found is it doesn't help people getting the loans. And it's there, but you still think it's a risk. So it really didn't work initially. Then we used incentivized back-end intermediaries. That means people who went sanitation marketeers. And that gave us some results. But then, are you incentivizing the right people? That's now the question. So the current model we are having is a proper RBF, result-based financing mechanism, where we do capacity development of the MFI staff, and we also do hand-holding. So it's important in view of things like staff turnover, but also helping them to be able to actually receive the incentive. We are interested that the MFI gets the results. We do an incentive payment per safely managed sanitation system, but everything is post-verification. And in the verification process we established, we also look at usage. Whether the thing is there and it's not being used, yeah, then there's no incentive payment. But typically, if people take loans to build something, they are going to use it. It's not a gift, it's not for free. You're putting your own money there, so why should you not use it? Why otherwise take the loan? So both the verification and the model is designed to scale. What we found very interesting, and that's a little bit cryptic for those who are not in the financial sector, the non-performing assets or the portfolio at risk, if you want, is lower than for income-generating loans. And this may be striking for those who have not dealt with it, but these loans are performing at the best. Microfinance institutions have a very low portfolios at risk, by and large, and the sanitation loans, but we are having a couple of speakers, so we can ask them later on whether they agree Bangladesh is the same. But this has been our experience globally, that the sanitation loans perform extremely well. So it goes a little bit up and down. So this is the number. So we've done reached out to 11 million people, and we do on average our partners. I say we because we're part of it, but our partners issue on average $150 million per annum in sanitation loans. And as you could see, that amount is growing. So in this whole ecosystem, we also try to tailor to local needs. And every time we have to think it's a bottom of the pyramid market. So in the case of Bangladesh, flooding, as well, I don't have to tell you, you know it better than I do, but flooding is an issue, and using toilets during flooding is a problem. So we have looked into various options, various technologies, and this one is operational during flooding. So this has been operational for 3 consecutive years in eastern India, and it's now also in the West Bengal, and a couple of them have been installed in Bangladesh. So it seems to be working. I'm saying seem. It's 3 years experience is okay, I think, but we still need to gather more data. And then my final slide, I think I skipped the video. That's just more or less what we've been talking about. So what we are working on, just looking at the future, we are looking now really at climate adapted sanitation. That's our core focus. It is an issue. We find it is an issue not only in Bangladesh, all countries we work, whether they have droughts, whether they have floods, whether they have this, that, or that. So that's a main issue. The second main issue is safer use of human waste. And these, I would say, are still what I would call in a pilot stage. So we cannot mainstream it with our financial partners yet, just yet. We need to be very convinced ourselves that these are workable solutions, then we can start mainstreaming with our partners. We are the technical partner for an impact fund that's being structured in the Netherlands. And that's an institutional investment fund, which is very interesting for, again, this is more for the financial people. But getting institutional money into foreign countries, into developing countries, into Bangladesh, India, Kenya, whatever, that's for all institutional investors, that's a red flag. No, we're dealing with money from pension fund holders, and you're going to invest there. Are you sure? So the regulatory authorities don't like it. Number 2, we're going to invest in water and sanitation. Second red flag. And then the focus is on sanitation, 3 red flags. But we have been able to structure it. Our financial partner has been able to structure it in the Netherlands with the first loss. They're talking about second loss, to be able to get institutional money into the sector. And this is the big money. There's much more institutional money, then donor money, then government money, then whatever. Institutional money is the big thing. Getting that into the sector for the first time, with our partners, also getting it into Bangladesh, will, in my view, be a global breakthrough. So what of the things we are thinking of, what are we looking for in the conference and going forward? Today, we use Dutch taxpayers' money to pay for incentives. So to pay for the result-based incentives. And we would like to change that. So we would like to have partners willing to move into that direction. And the results they can claim, and at a fraction of the cost, they can claim results. So it's a risk-free investment. If you're into social investment, a risk-free investment. So that's going to be the storyline going forward. And why do we want to do it? We think we can use that limited taxpayers' money much more efficiently in growing further and partnering with you further. So this is all I had to say. So it is a journey, and it's a journey only we can do with partners. I see many of them, actually, the whole front row is with our partners, which I'm very happy to notice. So yeah, it is something you have to do together, we're doing together, and together we are making a change. And that, I think, is what we have been listening in the morning. Let's make a change. Actually, you're doing it. So I'm very happy to be here and to work with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Valentin, for your nice presentation. I think I would like to introduce from the participant, that means Shiraz Bhai, our respectable AKM Shirazul Islam. He is a renowned person here, and so he is also the Vice Chairman of Finnish Mondial Foundation in Bangladesh. So thank you, Shiraz Bhai, for participating, and he's blessing for us also, actually. So now I would like to introduce our panelists. We will go for panel discussion now. First, I would like to introduce our panelists. Just I will declare the names, and they will be in the dais after some times. So, Professor Dr. Hosne Begum, Founder, Executive Director, TMSS. And you know the TMSS is one of the largest NGOs in Bangladesh, focusing on poverty alleviation, women's empowerment, microfinance, healthcare, education, and sanitation. And then we are delighted to declare the name Mr. Muhammad MD Zaman, Founder, Executive Director of Eco-Social Development Organization, ESDO, is a pioneer microfinance institution leading result-based financing initiative in Bangladesh. A good thing is I am announcing that Mr. Zaman is also the chair of Finnish Mondial Bangladesh in Bangladesh. And next, I would like to introduce another panelist from PKSF, our Mr. Rokanuzzaman. He is representing PKSF here, and then he is, you know, PKSF is the apex body, and PKSF has been leading the Bangladesh BD Rural Wash project, the largest project in Bangladesh. Rokan Bhai is leading that project, so we are very glad that he is here as a panelist. Thank you, Rokan Bhai, for here. And then finally, you know, the another panelist, he is from abroad, that is Nepal, Mr. Istiyaq Ahmed Khan, Mayor, Siddhartha Nagar Municipality, Nepal. It's a good opportunity for us to learn from Nepal experiences to this session. And then also our country coordinator Wahida Appa will be as a panelist, including them. Thank you very much. And then panel discussion will be moderated by Valentin Post. So thank you very much. So by this time, I am requesting panel discussion to stand up, and then we will arranging some for you.
So thank you very much. Now you heard we have a very, very distinguished panel. So I'm very happy to moderate it. And I thought maybe to kickstart the process, I just ask a few hopefully searching questions. And what I would like you to do as an audience, keep your questions ready. So the questions I'm asking is what I'm interested in. Hopefully you are interested in it as well. But what we would like to know is also what you're interested in. And the panelists have a tremendous amount of experience. So instead of me talking, I would like them now to talk. So let me start with Professor Begum. As was mentioned, the founder of TMSS. And she is in 101 sorts of businesses. So my question to you, Professor, is why are you moving into WASH?
Thank you very much. Very humanitarian global leader, Mr. Valentin Post. You are the moderator of this technical session, and all the panelists. We are known everybody, one another, and distinguished audience, and all the person are very well known regarding what is our problem, what are we doing regarding safely managed sanitation system. And I'm very much grateful to everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to introduce firstly, you mentioned the name TMSS, means I representing the organization TMSS. And TMSS is very old organization. This organization is formed in 1964 and formed by the very, very poorest of the poor women, mostly in village level. And sanitation and neat and cleanness, all this type of activity initially, they are not very much aware. They think it is not essential. Essential is the essential commodities, that is fooding, clothing, residence, all these things. When we starting our organization and reforming our organization in 1980, then we feel the neglecting thinking regarding the sanitation system and sanitation. That time, the NGO people are very much take interest and keen to the doing activity regarding the sanitation affairs. Dr. Zaman Bhai and all our partner, those who are doing work together, we know. And in 1990, when Palli Karma Sahayak Foundation is formed, their apex organization, they combined all of the partner organization, potential partner organization to doing all these things. Firstly, their intention was what the borrower are interest. Slowly, we and our apex organization, we try to engage, work with the sanitation. And we feel that initially they are not aware regarding sanitation. So we are doing awareness activity, then we motivate them. And you know, motivation main element is the example, result. So we try to present the result, the benefit of the safely sanitation system, and there is no safely sanitation system. We make comparison and result out to our borrower. Then they take more interest, and they try to installation of toilet and like that, and drainage and all the things regarding making the safely sanitation system. But so many problems come up. As they are poor people, their land is very scanty, limitation, and multi-shared land. So many numerous problems come up. And gradually our big team, very dedicated team, today under Shakil bin Azad, the team is working with Finnish Mondial assistance and coordination and direction. And you are the very great leader, and under you, Wahida and all the people, Finnish Mondial, I am very grateful to everybody. And I am very thankful to our team, TMSS team. So our commitment is very, very strong regarding health and sanitation. And perhaps the audiences know we are running a big hospital and more than 200 sub-center in village area, and many village sanitation center, and mission, thousands of mission are ready to doing sanitary production of sanitary material. But only the sanitary material production is not come up the sufficient profit. That's why they produce pipe, ring, slab, there's a ventilator, and so many building material with the slab, latrine, ring, which is very crucial for safe sanitary system. So day by day it is increased, and day by day our borrower are very keen to take loan, and our worker, our colleague are take very interest due to the safely sanitation system borrower, that is the borrower, those who are involved with safely sanitation system area, and the borrower who is not in like us, their mortality, morbidity, their income, everything is different. So our colleague, they are presenting their result, the health and hygiene and money spending for disease, that is their expenditure is more where sanitation system is not safely. That's why I think all the NGOs, we are keen. And PKSF is our big driver and providing so many assistance regarding all the necessary site. And the Finnish Mondial, and you the leader and your team is very, very, very dedicated and very, very scholar and very humanitarian person. That's why I think our future will be very bright and we are doing good. Thank you very much for inviting me to come here. I am sick, physically sick. I am thankful to Wahida. He give courage to come here. So everybody, I am very grateful. Thank you very much.
Professor, that was wonderful. I think you covered a... Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we had an interesting chat beforehand. So thanks very much, very comprehensive. Now let me go to your neighbor. And he's also a partner of Finnish Mondial. He's also into microfinance. And now I'm going to ask him this very strange question. No? Is it really true that people are repaying sanitation loans? Because what people say, it's non-income generating. So how can they repay the loan? So, Mr. Zaman, what is your experience in this?
Thank you, Valentin. It's a privilege to me to share something through this audience. And yes, before going to your questions, I just shared the evolution of the sanitation movement of Bangladesh. You know, 4 or 5 decades ago, when starting this journey of the sanitations, it's a completely going through the subsidized system, one ring, one slab, or the local government distributing systems, and definitely with the very strong BCC materials for creating the demand of the sanitation system of this Bangladesh. And definitely with the other development agenda, in case of sanitation, Bangladesh is also one of the pioneers for the sanitation, especially the CLTS and open defecation issues and the others within this globe. And yes, now we are talking about the sanitation financing. Before 1.5 decades ago, it's a very dilemma, the contradiction in between is sanitation is triggering either the subsidized model or the financing model. And now it has proven that, yes, this demand also, and at the field, how to people coping and addressing the appropriate and the right sanitation through their own financing. That is not only the microfinance practices, that is also the indications of the dignity of the people. Before we considering the why the sanitation financing gap in earlier and now this process, that is actually we considering on the 4 steps. For example, the acceptance, the access, the utilizations, and the availability. In case of the acceptance, the NGOs of the Bangladesh, including the government and the part of the private sectors, we are continuing more than 4 decades to triggering the BCC for the need of the sanitation at the ground level. And as a result, and then yes, creating the access. And access, you not only the one pit, one toilet, such types of the model. People's income, when that is the increase, and at the same time, different types of the options also needed, and the dream of the people for the offset latrine, the water, running water, and other options. And nowadays, the access situation is wide, but you know, still now there is some problem. There is some struggling, there is some challenge. For example, that is not yet inclusive in we consider the holistic approach. Still now, the materials for the, for example, the disabled people, that is not available all over the countries. So that there is a huge scope to innovations and the other things. And when we are talking about the availability and the utilizations, yes, people now, they are very much, most of the people very much aware to utilization the better sanitation options. So that now I going to your questions, that yes, before the, because the demand has already created through the different steps, now people is very much eager to invest their money through the microfinance for better sanitation options. And yes, Finnish Mondial, their diamond approach is one of the best example to how to create the demand for the microfinance. And you know, the Hosne mentioned that PKSF, the apex body to the, not only the lending or the distributing the money, at the same time, there is a huge coverage all over the country for the financing for the sanitation program. In earlier, the OBS sanitation, and now the BD Rural Wash program, that is the best example. At the same time, water.org, they are also creating the very good essence, and the definitely Water Aid Bangladesh, they have actually promoting some good example in the case of the innovations. And within this combined triggering, and with the governments of Bangladesh, as well as some of the private sectors, it is creating the much more demand. And now, in earlier, you know, we have also the combination in between the incentive and the financing and in the different way, interest-free loan and others. But it has day-to-day increased because people are not considering that it is the sanitary loan, that is the sanitation loan. People thinks about that, that is the part of their livelihood loan. They are investing for the others, and as a part of the livelihood, sanitation definitely as a part to reduce the health hazard, at the same time creating the dignity as well as the acceptance within the community. That is also one of the a symbol of the dignity, the setup of the good sanitation within their household. I just conclude in here. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely. So you're basically saying there is no sanitation loan. It's a livelihood loan. So it always will be on par with a livelihood loan. That's a fantastic one. I haven't heard that one before. So nice. Now PKSF was mentioned now a couple of times. So I think it's only fair that we now move to PKSF. And yeah, you are really working with so many MFIs. I think about 80 you're working on WASH. So when we had a chat beforehand, I was asking, but you have 280 members. So what is your strategy in working with MFIs on WASH?
Okay, thank you, Valentin. You know that PKSF was established in 1990 with a specific vision and mission. And the core objective of PKSF is to serve the assetless, landless, poor people. And in that case, PKSF emphasized on the income generating activities. If we talk about the economy, in fact, in 1990, in Bangladesh, the GDP was only 31 billion USD, and the poverty rate in Bangladesh then 56 point something percentage of total population. That's very high, you know. But in that time, it was mandatory to work with poor people. But as time going and the poverty is evolving, the definition of poverty now is multidimensional, right? And you know that not only income poverty is the poverty. So there are so many dimensions of poverty. So PKSF fails to work with sanitation also, water and sanitation. And there are some policy obligations also. You know that in Bangladesh, first national policy for water supply and sanitation was introduced in 1998. And after that, in 2000, there was MDGs, and Bangladesh government was working on that. And we feel proud that we successfully achieved the goals. And after that, in 2014, our national strategy paper on water and sanitation was introduced, and what is recently in 2021 revised also. And in that case, from 2014, PKSF failed to work with WASH with their partners. In fact, after immediately the WASH policy has been introduced. So PKSF first entered in the market with the MFIs through OBS sanitation. In fact, you know that there was a small amount of grant from World Bank with 3 million USD and another 22 million USD for loan with PKSF fund, PKSF Partners Fund, and another largest MFI, Ashas Fund. And with this, that was a pilot project, in fact, and we did it very much successfully. There was a target of 170,000 households to install improved sanitation system, and we achieved more than 100% in that case. So that was an experiment, in fact, a pilot project, and it created the opportunity that people needs finance for toilet, not only toilet, for safely managed toilet. You know that SDG 6 is targeting to make sure the access of safely managed toilet and sanitation, water. And in that case, PKSF started a new project, BD Rural Wash for HCD, Human Capital Development, from 2021. And it was working now in almost 182 sub-districts in Bangladesh, with 88 partner organizations. And PKSF from its very beginning, like these organizations of Dr. Zaman and Dr. Hosne, we have very much, we are confident that we can make it possible to make some safely managed toilet with some credit supply. And I think it was working now. And there is not only the credit supply to the low-income people, there is something much more that. We supply the credit to low-income people to establish safely managed sanitation facilities, and government supports with a grant of 3,000 BDT with this amount of loan to establish a second pit of a toilet, and it's an incentive for the low-income people. And there are some other technical support to the MFIs. We have already trained more than 9,000 staff of these MFIs under these projects. And we also working for the market development of sanitation and water. And there are almost 3,500, more than plus, 3,500 plus local entrepreneurs who are working in the community level for water and sanitations. And we trained these people under this project. There are another 250 female entrepreneurs. We are working under this project who are trained for marketing or for production the menstrual hygiene items. In fact, this is another important thing. Though it's a very little portion of this project, in fact, the project volume is 184.4 million from the development partners, and total volume is 328.8 million USD. So there's a very much little portion, but we are starting a new era of this menstrual hygiene management system. So we are thinking that it's better now. Our MFIs are also prepared to do this, and as people are now much better in terms of their income. So sanitation is not just a free item now. They also think it's an essential need. So people are very much eager to expense after this. So for sanitation, if we provide some financial cooperation to the low-income people through our partner organizations, people are very much interested to make it possible to make the safely managed sanitations in their household level. And they now think about their future generation, and they are now think about to make them safe. In fact, so they are, I think, very much possible, and we have already established a financial model, in fact, through to establish the safely managed sanitations through credit, in fact. So that's all from now. So thank you.
Thank you. So that's about scale. So we have partners who are doing it, support partners. And if you do a lending to scale, then we talk about result-based financing, and we have verification then on our mind. Only after system is verified, payouts are there. So then my question to you, Wahida, I'll just pass you the mic, is how do you do the verification?
Thank you, Valentin. We do it quarterly, actually. We take reports from the partners quarterly, and in the next quarter we go for verifying the toilets. We ensure the toilet is safely managed, the prepared toilet. The loan is actually used for the purpose it has been taken for, and the loan is repaid properly, timely. That is the main three criteria for verifying the toilet. And also, there is other subsidized programs. It is not a part of other subsidized programs. That is very important. That is how we do the verification. We do it through a third party. We recruit third party and do it quarterly. And after the verification is done, we pay for the incentives. And for every toilet, for every safely managed sanitation system, we actually pay the subsidized amount. That is how we do it. And yearly evaluation, after the evaluation, yearly evaluation, we evaluate the partners. How many errors they have made, how many toilets were not actually prepared or made or built. That is how we actually do the assessment of the partners too. We have a few partners and they have been doing very well, and the repayment is very good. I would say here, I will take this opportunity to say that the sanitation loan actually has been part of the loans. You know, people were diverting the fund for sanitation. Yeah. Now, as it is formally financed for sanitation, there is no diversion, fund diversion. That is the market-driven solution. Actually, there is a market. I have been going through some papers, and UNICEF paper on Bangladesh sanitation market. They are saying that there is $1.2 billion market for sanitation. That is the market there. So it has to be sustainable. If there is a market, we will manage to finance in that market. That is very important. And result-based financing has been very good experience for Finish Mondial Bangladesh so far, and we hope to continue with it. And the ultra poor is still not under the purview. We are working with the MFIs. If we can make catered, tailored products for them, maybe the installment size can be smaller by getting a long-term loan or some subsidy for them from the government or from other sources, and affordability of the products, those are available in the market. That is also very important. And you have said already that we are into climate-prone toilets too. So yeah, that is going to be sustainable. If there is a market, you will find the way to finance in the market. That is what's happening in Bangladesh. I'm really hopeful about the sanitation market in Bangladesh, and the MFIs are working the way they are working. Thank you. I must thank the partners here. Thanks very much. Yes.
Thanks. So before we go to the audience, I think we have one elected official here on the dais. He's a mayor of a town in Nepal, and we would like to learn actually from you, sir, how you're doing the sanitation financing in Nepal. You have not, unlike Bangladesh, where it's a very well developed, it's the home of microfinance. So we're very curious to learn from you how you work on sanitation financing in Nepal.
Thank you so much, Honorable Session Chair, Mr. Valentin Dost, dear Honorable presentators, speakers, panelists, officers, development partners and experts, ladies and gentlemen. Very good morning, namaste, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am honored to be here today to share the experiences of Siddhartha Nagar Municipality, Nepal. You know, Asia's cities are growing rapidly. By 2030, more than 55% of the population will live in urban areas. With higher population densities and urban expansions, managing the vast amount of human waste is becoming ever more challenging, affecting public health, productivity, and the overall quality of life. Still, in most of our cities, the conventional sewer network often do not serve newer or informal settlement. Participation of women and disadvantaged people in sanitation also a challenge of achieve SDG 6.2. There has been limited involvement of all the small scales private sector, the primary service provider in low income and non-sewered areas as well, which are need to recover city-wide incentive sanitation CWIS. Ladies and gentlemen, as our town is growing, despite many success stories, and like other cities, we also facing challenges in sanitation and waste management sector. But we are making progress by improving financing involving the community and working with the private sector. We set aside part of our municipal budget for sanitation and partners with private companies to improve waste management. Support for international organization has helped us introduce better solution, but finding sustainable long-term funding remain a challenge. We're looking more creative financial model to keep our effort going with innovative technologies, which will be low cost, local innovation, and low income community supporting. People's participation is very to keep to making sanitation program works. We run awareness campaigning regularly in schools and neighborhood, encouraging good hygiene and proper waste disposals. Community-led program have helped householders build and use toilet, and women's group have played a big role in maintaining sanitation facilities, both on-site and off-site sanitation value chain is a priority as well. While these efforts have brought positive change, keeping people engaged for the long run is difficult. Awareness building and behavior change communication program for safe sanitation also integrated with other programs. Local entrepreneurs are coming up with great ideas like affordable, eco-friendly toilets and waste to energy projects. Despite of the challenges, we have made the real progress. Most householders and of Siddhartha in Siddhartha Nagar now have toilets. Our fuel sludge management system has improved. Municipal Association of Nepal, MUAN, supporting us to get more knowledge and skill. Our departments of waste, sewerage management, Ministry of Waste Supply also supporting us to get regulation. However, we come here to learn from your experiences, financing system and opportunities, technologies, which we believe will be very much supporting for us. Together we can build the future our cities deserve, a future that leaves no one behind. Thank you so much.
So I'm not sure how we're doing on time, but I would like to open the floor for the audience. If you're not going to ask questions, I keep on asking them. But I see some hands there. So can someone, or yeah, I can walk around as well. That doesn't matter. Can you please state your name, your organization, and also whom you would like to address the question to, and try to make it brief.
Thank you so much. I'm MD Monir Hussain, Deputy Secretary, Ministry of Railways. And we are two officers from Ministry of Railways. She is Divisional Medical Officer, and I'm Deputy Secretary from Ministry of Railways. And I'm enjoying this session very much, really. Actually, I can share my some experiences because I'm the administration cadre, belong to admin cadre. When I was the UNO Upajala Nirbhay Officer, SLN, Executive Magistrate in the field level, I had the opportunity to do works with the GEO NGO, you know. And in every Upajala, there is a coordination meeting with the NGOs in every Upajala. So I think sanitation success is a combined effort with GEO and NGO. And now I'm working in Ministry of Railways, and you know, railway in every day, 2 lakh people, they're traveling by rail. And railway is a very popular way of communication. And actually it's a very challenge to manage the sanitation systems in railway because in our country, people don't know how to use the public toilet. They don't make ready for the next user. And if you visit, especially the toilet of coach or compartment of train, this is very much tough to manage the toilet cleanliness because we have shortage of manpower and there is a challenges of technology. I think most of the persons have the expenses to visit by railways. So I think financing in sanitation in railways, there is a challenges or there is a problems for government because we have shortage of finance. So I think PPP, there are some models now running in some stations, Kamlapur, Airport Station, Rajshahi Station, in some divisional railway stations to provide the drinking water by Robi. They're providing supports to provide the drinking water, safe drinking water to the people. So I think this is a very successful PPP model. So I think today lots of high officials of renowned NGOs, TMSS and others NGOs, PKSF. So as an admin cadre officer, we had experiences to do works in the field level with lots of NGOs. So I think now I'm inviting from Ministry of Railways to introduce some PPP model to enhance the sanitation programs in Bangladesh Railways. Because every day, 2 lakh people are traveling by railways. So I think it would be a better opportunity to enhance the sanitation program if we can introduce PPP model in some. As experimental, we can introduce Kamlapur railway station, Airport station in some big Chidang railway stations, Rajshahi, Rangpur, Sylhet, Cox's Bazar. So this is very much important because every day thousands of female and children, they are traveling by railways. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So it's a question and a request. So who would like to take this on? So there's a request for what can we do. I knew you were going to answer this one. So
I just added with the respected Deputy Secretary that yes, there is some good example have already done with the collaboration of Bangladesh Railway, with the support of Water Aid Bangladesh and ESDO also the partner for some of the railway station. For example, Ishordi, for example, Panchagar, for example, Rajshahi railway station. We have built the different, very unique and very beautiful complex. There is everything in there, changing the smart toilet facilitation and others, even the resting for some types of the options. I think that is the good example. And government maybe replicate this idea to the other railway station because the development partners, they are actually creating some good example. And we are always expecting government will actually scale up this idea. And definitely the private sectors, the NGOs, and the others continuously collaborate with the government because we need to change the scenario. And just I added another point in case of the railway coach, the cleaning issue. Yes, you mentioned that the people's awareness. I agree with you partially because the firstly people awareness definitely needed, but at the same time, the service providers and the logistics, minimum logistics must be ensured by the railway authority. There is not, most of the time is available in the railway coach. Sorry that is not the criticism, that is the experience.
I see I see a lot of hands, but I think yours was the most clear.
I think a lot of issues have come up in life. So my name is Dr. Sanjan Das. I sort of closely work with Professor Hosne and Begum, imagining what are the possibilities of life, not focusing on a particular thing. So human beings are nothing but a selection of memories. They make all their decisions based on what they have learned before. Now we are talking about toilets. I'm not a historian, but apparently the most opulent palace in history is the Palace of Versailles in France. But when they built that palace, they didn't build any toilet. Apparently they used to go beyond the curtains, and that's why they made the hall rooms massive size, and they used to use expensive perfumes. So toilet is a cultural issue and health issue. So I think the biggest and most fundamental investment we need to make is to train up our people at childhood, starting with mothers at home, they're in school, how to use the toilets. Now the toilets, typically you have the flat ones you get in French villages, is very different than the English ones, the commodes. How you use it, how you clean it is very, very different. And unless people who are looking after the toilets, cleaning point of view or using point of view, unless they are trained, you are going to constantly run into this trouble. So that's why we need to make soft investment where you don't need enormous amount of money. You need a cultural evolution. And I don't think there is any mothers in Dhaka city who are between the age of 40 and 50 who has not had UTI in last 1 year or 2 or 3 years. It's because since the age of 12 or 13, they stopped drinking toilet for the fear of going to, toilets. So this soft investment will make enormous difference. Obviously, Bangladesh has made serious progression last 30, 40, 50 years in terms of making toilets available. And the other one is a lot of the discussion that especially she brought up. So if people can buy a car with finance by taking a loan, why wouldn't they buy a toilet? And as the society is progressing, people will take loan and build upper grade toilets. So in terms of financing, that's not an issue. And what you mentioned earlier, investing in toilets in Bangladesh for a pension fund, it's very risky. But somebody sitting in Netherlands or London or New York who has never been to a Bangladeshi village, doesn't understand the Bangladeshi culture, it's an alien world. So that kind of big pots of money, if it's leveraged by Bangladesh government sovereign fund, then I think it will create the extra layer of safety. And there is, at present in Bangladesh, lot of vibe and negativity about admin cadres, the people who run the government, like that young man there, deputy secretary. But I can categorically assure you, there are exceptional people in admin cadre. They are also good human beings. So the current sitting ERD secretary, honorable secretary, is absolutely incredible. So if you talk to him, he will come up with creative solutions, how billions can be pumped in. She meant 1.2 billion. But that could exponentially grow. So if we focus on two ends, one is the top end of getting this sovereign fund back, big money in, and culturally train up people to use toilet. So we must have potty training in early stage primary schools. And TMSS is unique with the view that it is the most diverse NGO possibly in Bangladesh. How big they are, I don't want to make a comment about that, that everybody knows. So in terms of diversity, I think TMSS is unique. And because it is a mother-led, female-led organization, we will be able to play a critical role. And what he mentioned about PPP, I think there are ideas. I'll share with her, and we can come up with a proposal. So hopefully I have not wasted your time, but I am talking from a individual civilian point of view, because when I go around Dhaka city, it's always a headache. Where is the next toilet? Thank you.
Thank you. I've been warned, I see some hands, and I would actually love to give you all your time, but I've been warned that the session is over. I just want to summarize the main findings. So we talked here about result-based financing, and I think from the two MFIs, not the MFI support, but the two MFIs, they clearly see this as an instrument which is helpful to them. I would have loved to ask Professor Begum, but the money is so small. And she gave an answer, it's not the money, it's the thought which matters. It is the support which matters. It's not the money per se. So if we talk about these sort of concepts, it's not money. We in a finance session, it's very strange, we're not talking about money, we're talking about partners. But actually that's what it is. So PKSF, I think they really have played a vital role and continue to play a vital role. And I think they're very much appreciated by the MFI partners, and I think by those in the audience who have worked with them. And just by way of conclusion, we would like to do still more. So, sir, we'll come back to you and try to do more. Then, in the result-based financing, what we see is, and I think Wahida talked about it, there are different partners with different roles. Microfinance has a role for reaching out to communities, reaching out to their needs. That's one part. The second part, technical capacity building of MFI staff, that's not a role of an MFI normally. You take development partners, NGOs for that same thing. Verifying results could be a third partner, and payment for results achieved could be another partner. So the last two roles currently are combined, but we believe they can be split. Then what we really talked about, and I think all the partners talked about, it's a system approach. And the same thing I think became clear from Nepal. It's about systems. So it's about system communities, it's about businesses, it's about public-private partnerships, and the role of the government in the whole system as well. And not talking only about households, talking about systems. So it's about the sanitation value chain. To go from the defecation to eventually the safe reuse. And lastly, I think it was just mentioned briefly, but I think it's an important point, and I just want to stress what PKSF made is on local entrepreneurs. So all the loans they give loans to households for building sanitation. They also give some loans to entrepreneurs, and PKSF is making from their own money a point of supporting entrepreneurs. And that's what we think is market-based sanitation all about. It's you lend money, you get it back, and the economy grows. People get better off. So it's a system which is sustainable. And I think what the session has proven to me is that yes, there are problems, there are massive problems, but the solutions are here. And the people who can provide solutions have been sitting on there. I really encourage you to talk to them at length, pick their brains, see what you can, what else you can, because they have solutions. And let's not only divulge into problems, let's also look into what makes us enthusiastic, helping people getting to help themselves, basically. So I really thank the distinguished panelists. I thank the audience, and I'm very sorry for the tea and coffee people or the lunch people. We're a little late, so if the lunch is cold, then please come to me. Thank you.
I'm requesting panel discussion to stay the stage, and we will take a group photo, please.